Hi and welcome to MQW Driving School, another video. Are you scared of sharing the public transport? Do you want to be in your own personal car? Are you looking to drive automatic or manual car? You have approved Dvsa driving instructors in your town. We offer ORDIT training, free training, automatic and manual lessons, and also drive courses and online tutorials. We are trusted by many customers. You can check our reviews on Google. If you want to become one of us, you want to join our team, you can take a test with us, you can also work with TFree. We are hiring and working. If you need a further information, please visit our website, mqwdrivingschool.uk. This video is about theory test. Before we continue, can you please subscribe and like our video and press the bell button for the further video notification. Thank you. Hi and welcome to MQW Driving School, another video. Now this video is about theory test preparation. We provide online theory test workshop in Urdu, English, Hindi, Punjabi, Arabic languages. We can help you to pass your theory test in all the languages, but we only help you to prepare, but you still have to give your test in English language. Okay, today I'm going to tell you everything you need to know to pass your theory test with the help of this presentation. Okay, so welcome to my theory test presentation. Okay, now let's go to the next slide. Okay, in this one I can explain you who I am first. My name is Mr Qasim. I'm the CEO of MQW Driving School. I provide the ORDIT instructor training. I provide fleet driver training for car and vans. I'm approved instructor from the Dvsa. I'm an advanced driver for ROSPA, and I also have the certificate of awarding education training in classrooms by the City and Gift. Again, I'm also qualified to give training for electric vehicles for fuel efficiency courses as well, and I got a training for function skill for math, English, and I can speak English, Urdu, Hindi, and Punjabi. All right, so let's go to the next one. If you need to prepare yourself for your theory test, these are the three main good books to go through. Number one is called Traffic Science. It is freely available online on government website. And then you got Highway Code, again freely available on the government website. And then maybe you have to buy the third book, which we call Driving Essential Book. If you go through all these three books before you start practicing your question answer, then you have highly chance to pass straight away in first attempt. But I know many people don't like to read books. They want to go to the question answer straight away, and then they want to do all the practice with the question answers rather than reading the books. But I recommend read the books first, then go for question answers. Okay. Now let's talk about a little bit history about the theory test. The theory test actually started in 1997 in 1st of July, when they start giving you the question answers, and then they started as a perception test back in 2002, 14th of November. Before that, it was just the question answers and no hazard perception. Now the requirement is that you must have to pass the both tests at the same day of your theory test appointment, hazard perception and theory questions. If you pass the theory one and fail the hazard, your result will be fail. If you pass the hazard and fail the theory, it will be fail. So if one is pass, other is fail, full result is fail. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Before we continue to the next one, let's check your general knowledge about what you know about the theory test. So first of all, let's say how many of you actually know who set the driving theory test? Hold your answers, think about it, write it down somewhere if you want to write it down, and then check your answers. Next question, how much does the theory test cost to you? I believe many of you maybe already know the price. Now, where do you normally sit for the theory test? Where you normally go, which center you go, and how you do the test, or whether on a computer or you have to do paper based. Okay, maybe you know the answer as well. Then how the test is taken, then how much marks you need to get for theory test pass, and if you get the certificate after you pass, how long your certificate is going to get valid for. Okay, now check your answers and see if you know these answers already. Okay, in the same order, Dvsa, Driving and Vehicle Standard Agency, is the one who are going to take your test. The price of the test is £23. Only book through the government website. Don't pay any middleman companies. If you do pay, just make sure they're not charging too much money from you. You go to the official Dvsa Theory Test Center, which is these days a Pearson Test Center. The theory test is taken on the computer and consists of 2 different tests, and both have to be taken on the same day. The current pass for the learners to pass in Great Britain and Northern Ireland is 43 marks in the question answer out of 50. And for the hazard perception, you need to get 44 out of 75. And your certificate will valid for 2 years only. You have to pass your practical test in that 2 years time. If you don't pass your practical test in 2 years time, you have to pass your theory test again to go in the process. Okay, so make sure once you pass your theory test straight away, go for driving lessons and book your practical. So if you do get fail in one attempt, at least you still don't run out of your theory test. Many people are having this problem these days because of COVID-19, that the theory is expiring now and they are unable to do the practical test and they have to go for theory test all again. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Let's go for theory test introduction. You get multiple choice questions, which is 50 total questions you get in your test, and you need 43 to pass. It will cover at different topics. Your question will relate to the different topics. Topics can be about alertness, attitude, safety of the roads, road signs, and much more. So don't just prepare the traffic signs, prepare every single topic separately. Then you will be allocated about 1 hour roughly, or 57 minutes to complete your first part, which is theory part, and you must get at least 43 marks to pass. Anything above also pass. Now let's talk about how many total topics and what their names are. The roughly questions these days is going to be 731 till 800 in total, or 780 roughly. Okay, is approximately these kind of total questions you should be prepared. Number 1 is accidents. Number 2, alertness. 3, attitude, documentations, hazard awareness, motorway rules, other type of the vehicles, road and traffic signs, rules of the road, safety margins, safety and your vehicle or motorcycle. Vehicle motorcycle handling, vehicle motorcycle loading, and vulnerable road use. These are the 14 topics you're going to get your question from. So it's better you prepare each topic separately to make sure you understand the topic properly, because passing the theory is not just a thing you need to do. Remember, you're learning this for become a good driver, and you're going to take your practical test after you pass your theory test. So all the information should stay in your mind all your life. Okay, so not just to pass your theory test. Okay, now we're going to explain you all these topics one by one separately, so you should understand what's actually inside the topics. Okay, number 1, accident. This is also a type of the question you get in it is called first 8 questions. If you already have done the first 8 course at your work, at your school and colleges, or any other places, then some of the questions will be easy for you to remember. You are expecting about 48 questions in that topic. Okay, it's not a very big topic to remember, just some questions going to repeat but in a different formats. Okay, if you know the real answers, if you know the logic, if you know the if you have read the book properly, then it does not matter what type of the question they're asking you. You know the logic and you understand it, and you can give the answer easily. Okay, I'll put some question in front of you just to give you some example. what type of the question you will get in the accident, accident topics. Number one, let's talk about this one. So for example, what should you do if you see a large box fall from a lorry on a motorway? Now, first of all, you have to think about that you, the one actually driving on the road, on the driver's seat, on a motorway, and then you see something fallen from something in front of you, which can be lorry or another one. Now, think about the safety first. Then they give you some question and they will give you some answer. Some of the answer will be totally opposite, which does not make no sense, and even in a common sense we say that it's not going to be right. So think about safety. Your options can be there. For example, you will stop the car and pick the box. You should not do this ever. Okay, then they can give you the chance of say that you will wave the driver and say, oh, your box is fallen down, can you should not do this. Then they start giving the very safe answer, like you pull up and call SOS and inform them. Then they also give you another answer that you carry on your journey safely because you see the driver is actually stopping and reporting it. And technically the driver on responsibility, if he knows something fallen down and he saw in the mirror, then he actually can stop and report it, not going to go in the motorway and risk his life to pick up. So some questions, or you can say two of the questions and one question and two answer looks very similar and easy to understand more, and two of them would opposite. So first of all, it's better for you to find out the opposite answers than a close answers. So then you have a very limited choice to select from. Okay, but if you have read the book properly, you should know the rules properly, and then you can jump to the answer easily. Okay, and if you're not sure, you can give one answer and flag it and go to the next one and come back again if you need it. Now think about the second one. You are going through a long tunnel. What will warn you of congestion of a road accident? Now think of the scenario again. You are driving. Okay, you're the one who's driving. You're going in a tunnel. Okay, when you enter the tunnel, normally it's get very dark and you don't know what's inside the tunnel. It's get very congestions. Okay, what will warn you? The traffic signs you before you enter the tunnel. Sometimes it's got digital signs on the top of the tunnel telling you it's going to be congestions. Okay, now take about 3. You arrive at the scene of a motorcycle crash. No other vehicle is involved. The rider is unconscious and lying in the middle of the road. What is the first thing you should do at the scene? Now think again, you the one who's driving the car. You the one who first saw the motorcycle crash. Okay, there's no one involved. So go through the whole scenario in your mind, draw the picture in your mind, and then think what they're asking you. Okay, then go for the question answers and see the choices. Think about the wrong one first, then pick the close one, and then pick the best one suit for the application. Okay, so you got a little idea what kind of question they're going to give you in this accident topic. Now I'm going to show you some pictures which give you more idea about it. So let's say someone laying down on the floor, fallen down because of the bike or any accident. Then they're going to ask you first 8 questions. What kind of first aid you're going to give to this guy? Okay, how are you going to position himself? How you can control his bleeding? Are you going to give him something to drink? Are you going to remove his helmet or something? The next picture, are you going to remove the helmet of this biker? What position will be the best position for recovery for him? If the incident happened, you see the police car, what you will do? If your car break down, how far you should be putting your triangle? Okay, if you see the accident, ambulance, police car, doctors, and motorway, all roads are empty and they block, what you should do? How you react? Again, for your accident, how you can save yourself from the accident? If you go to this pedal, it's a level crossing, and if your car struck up, how you can save yourself? Are you going to stay there? Are you going to push your car? Okay, and the last one, if you have to give first aid to someone, how much pressure you should give to the chest? Is it adult or is the child? Different pressures. Okay, then how much inches you need to press per seconds? Okay, so all these kind of questions, scenarios you will see in this accident topic. Let's go to the next one. Now this one is about alertness. Okay, let's see, you're going to expect it about 26 questions in this topic. So think about the question number 1, for example. You are on a long motorway journey. What should you do if you feel sleepy? Now think about, you need to drive very alert. Okay, again, you the driver, you behind the wheel, you need to think about alertness. Okay, again, they're going to give you some option like you're going to take a Red Bull, you're going to carry on, you don't care, you're going to put loud music, or you're going to take the first available exit and park your car and take a sleep, or uh, take rest before you drive again. Okay, second one, there object hanging from interior mirror. Why could this be a hazard? Okay, then again, many people don't know that decoration pieces to hang inside your back mirror can be distracted. Because of that, it can be a blind spot behind this one. They're not allowed. So don't go for hanging a lot of things on your back mirror, which looks cool to you in your car, but it is not good for you. Okay. Why should you switch off your headlights when it first start to get dark? Because it's getting dark. You need to switch on, because you never know when it's going to be completely dark and you may be driving the car without the lights, and when you're driving without the lights, no one can see you driving and coming along their way. It can be a cause of accident. Okay, so there are a lot of questions will come in this topic. It's called alertness. This is the example photos. For example, you're not allowed to touch your devices like sat nav or mobile phone. If you want to do it, you must set yourself before you start your journey. Or if you need to do it again, then again find a good place to pull up first, then reset it and then move again. Mobile phone should be on silent, away in gloves compartment. This is what they're recommending these days. Okay. Now the third picture, you see that two people are trying to overtake cars in front of them at the same time. One is coming out behind the cars like a move off at angle. Another guy same time doing moving at angle or maybe overtaking someone. So how much alert you was that time that you should do it or not? Now think about that picture behind the lorry. So if you see yourself in that gray area, that means you are in the blind spot of the lorry. Okay, the driver of the lorry unable to see you easily, so don't drive anywhere in the blind spot of other people's car. It is not safe to drive like this. Now think about the next car where you say ABC. These are the pillars which restrict your view in the car, so they becomes your blind spot. Okay, so again, you must have to move yourself properly to find out who is coming through that blind spot before you thinking of moving off. That's again alertness about your driving. Now let's talk about the next topic. This topic is about attitude of a driver. Expected about 39 questions in total. Now see the example questions. When should you flash your headlight at the road users? First of all, this is not a highway code. You should not do it. I do see people doing it to say thank you. Okay, but this is not a highway code. Okay, it can be the confusion what they actually want us to do. Type of the second question, the conditions are good and dry. So think about what they're talking about first. When should you use your 2-second rule guide? So they're talking about a good weather first, then they're talking about 2 seconds. Then they can maybe talk about the bad weather, 4 seconds. Ice weather, 10 times. Okay. Question number 3, what should you do to avoid the fuel spillage? Fill the fuel properly. Tight the cap properly. Okay. You're approaching to a zebra crossing. What should you do if pedestrians are waiting to cross? Of course, you should be waiting for them to let them cross. Okay. So again, there are a lot of time there are drivers on the road who don't have a good attitude. They can see people actually trying to cross, but they don't want to wait. They want to go quickly. Okay. So think about that way. What is the best thing you should be doing at that time? Now, example photos. So look for the first one, that don't drive too close to someone. This is not a safe distance to drive someone. You should be keeping the good distance behind each other in a different type of the roads. Then you need to pay good attention to the traffic light and be ready to slow down and stop if you know the light is going to change soon. If you see any kind of pedestrian crossing, which is zebra, pelican, token, puffin, equestrian, then get ready when you near the zigzag lines or approaching to any kind of pedestrian crossing, and don't try to rush quickly. Now, next picture where the car is trying to overtake the lorry. Again, if you want to overtake, then you want to go back, not that immediately in front of the lorry where you're going to come in the blind spot again. Okay, so give yourself a good time to do it. In the next picture, the guy is actually trying to press the horn. You should know the pressing horn is not allowed unless it is rare danger and you need to warn somebody. Okay, so that's your attitude. That means you're getting angry. If your next picture, the guy is getting in the road range, like getting angry on someone's actions, then again, they're talking about how you will behave if you see the doctor cars coming from your behind or any emergency cars coming from behind. How are you going to give them a spaces? Then again, they're talking about if you see any animals on the road, how you pass them, how safely you pass them, how much distance you are giving to them. Okay, so this is all under your attitude as a driver. So now let's talk about chapter 4. Chapter 4 is about the documentations. They're going to ask you some question about the documents a driver should know about. You're going to expect it about 28 questions in total. So let's example. Who is responsible for paying the road tax or vehicle excise duty tax? Again, you as an owner should be responsible. Okay. What is the legal minimum insurance cover you must have to drive on public roads? This is the best time. Again, you did not pass your theory test yet, you did not pass your practical, you never bought the car, so majority of the time you don't know. Okay, if you don't know, if you do have someone in your house, just ask them what is the best insurance policy you should buy, who paid the road tax, who paid the MRT, what is the SON, like off-road notification, then what is the V5 form, can you say them to show you the V5 form, can you say them how much MRT cost them, who is responsible for the MRT, what is the third party insurance. So I think this is the best chapter you can do at home with anyone you know who have a car. Ask them all these questions, they are much happy to answer you, I believe. And then if you say them to show you some real document, that way you will really going to understand what these documents are and what is important for you and who is responsible for these documents and when. Okay, I'm going to show you some examples so you can see as well. Number one is a certificate of motor insurance. When you actually get the insurance, they give you some certificate to prove this is where your insurance will start and this is where your insurance will end. Okay, the next one is called a V5 form, means a registration form. When you buy the car, this is the official paper show that you are the owner of the car. Okay, then we got that MRT certificate. When you go for MRT certificate, once a year they will issue the certificate which say pass and fail, and you MRT must need to be passed to come on the road. Okay, they will ask you some question about on what circumstances you can drive the car if your MRTs fail. That means you would only drive when you have a booking and you're going to your MRT, otherwise you should not drive. The next one, you got an online service where you can check the road tax of the car and MRT of the car online by putting your registration number. If you don't tax, they will clamp your car. If you don't want to stay your car on the road, it should be off-road, and you must notify them that you are going abroad for 2 years or something and you don't want to take the car on the road. This is called SON notification. Okay, so must know your documentation is very important. So again, there are a lot of other things than traffic signs. Okay, let's go to the next chapter. The next chapter is about the hazard awareness. They're going to ask you some question about hazard awareness. Again, you're expecting about 78 questions in total for your practice. So example question, what will become more expensive after you have been convicted of driving while unfit through drink and drive? So again, you get the ban, you get the penalty points. Okay, what should you do about driving if you have been medicine and that making you drowsiness? You should not be drive. You should know which medicine causes you what. Okay, what should you do if your doctor prescribe you a drug and would more likely to affect your driving? You should not be driving then. Okay, what you can do to help prevent tiredness on your long journey? Take a breaks. Okay, so these are the hazards. So again, if you see the picture, is very simple. Old people maybe had late reactions. Okay, so if you see someone driving in front of you, back of you, so don't expect too quick reaction from them. Okay, then check your eyesight all the time. So only drive if you have the good pair of your glasses to drive the car. If you miss your glasses, don't attempt to drive. If you're feeling drowsiness, these kind of quick caffeine and these kind is not going to help you. You know your availability is not that good for your driving. You must stop the car, take a break, and don't further. If you see the level crossing coming up and the barrier is going to get down and lights are there, you should be prepared to stop. Sometimes the barrier is not working, but you can see the train is coming again. Don't attempt to go. Okay, you should know your medicine, which going to give you some sleepy, tiredness, fatigue. Okay, so don't take medicine and drive, but majority of the medicine normally the doctor recommend before you sleep, so you know you're going to have a good sleep to drive, but don't take it before you're driving. Okay, so these are the questions you're going to get in that part. Now, number 6, motorway rules. In this one, they're going to ask you some question about the motorways, rules about the motorway. Again, you're expecting about 55 questions in total. So take example. You are towing a trailer along a 3-lane motorway when you see the right-hand lane. Okay, sorry, when you may use the right-hand lane. So think about you driving on a car motorway with towing something at the back of your car. Which lane you should be using? Left side one. And what is your speed limit? 60 only, not 70. What is the national speed limit on the motorway for cars and motorcycle? 70 if you're not towing. You are traveling along the motorway, what you allowed to overtake on the left? You should not overtake on the left. You always overtake on the right. Left overtaking is not safe. Our cars are get punctured while you're driving. Again, you have to stop on the hard shoulder in the case and call SOS to change the recovery. So all these kind of motorway question, including the studs. Studs are very important question. They normally ask the color of the studs. Okay, so it's better. Let's do the little bit know-how of the stud colors. If you treat it more like a traffic light, it will be so easy for you to remember. Okay, so red will be on your left side on a hard shoulder. Then you got a white one in between the lines. And you got the amber one or yellow one on your right hand side where your lane's going to finish. And you get the green one for the slip road where you take your exits. So there are total 4 colors: red, white, amber, green. And then sometimes you see the bright yellow and green if they're doing some extra road work, which give you the extra studs to tell you the new lane discipline to follow on. Okay, remember these colors as a traffic light, and then have a look on this picture and you will say most example. So for example, if you break down on the motorway where you should be doing your calls, save your mobile battery and use the SOS phone so they know where you are, as your location is written down on the box as well. They want to ask you where you are, so they can send you the recovery if you have your one, and they can call on your behalf for your recovery if your phone died as well. Okay, then there will be a question about the motorway, like a smart motorway. When you see the X on the top of your information, then what lane you should be drive, how early you should be moving the lane, are you allowed to drive on that lane or not? If they restrict your speed to the 50, are you allowed to increase your speed or not allowed to speed and increase? Then a motorway sign come in the blue color signboard, so you look for the signboard, and how you read them is also important as well. Okay, then you got a traffic control police officer which patrol the motorway for to make sure the motorway flow is going through very easily all the time, and they look for anyone who break down and need any help. The next picture under the police car is going to be the car with towing the caravan. So again, when you tow something, your speed is not 70, your speed is restricted to 60. When you got a congestions, you think about the congestion early as possible. This is where they tell you in advance, and you should be keeping a good gaps between each other for doing that one. The next one picture is about your stud colors, and this is where you need to think about the stud colors at the same time as well. Okay, so that's your stud colors coming up here. So this is the red one is a hard shoulder. Then you got the green one for the slip road, white in the center of the road, and yellow on the right hand side, which is the end of your side of the road. Okay, now we're going to the next one. Okay, other type of the vehicles. Now this is the chapter where they're going to ask you about the different types, other types of your vehicles. Yeah, expected just 22 questions only, not much questions going to see in your test as well. So for example, if you are towing a caravan, what is the safest type of the rear view mirror to use? You need an extra mirror to see the back very easily. You cannot use the same mirror because you're unable to see it. You are about to overtake a slow moving motorcycle. Which sign you should make it to safe special care? You are wanting to turn right out of the mirror road. It's clear to the left, but lorry is coming. What you should do? Okay, so these are the questions as well, but picture will make more easily. Okay, have a look. So for example, this one, you don't drive in the blind spots. You go some city where you see the trams. Then you think about the bus stops, bus in front of you, or call a bus routes. Then you see a lorry near the junction. You know that they need a little bit extra room to turn. They maybe swing before turning. Okay, so look for other type of the roads on the road while you're traveling on these kind of roads as well. Okay, so this is where they ask you the different type of questions. Not think about which is not car. Okay, think about lorry, truck, buses, and these kind of things, trams, railways, networks. Now number 8, road and traffic signs. Now this is one of the big chapter. It takes so much time to remember, and you're expecting about 133 questions, and this will be about the traffic and road signs. Okay, so for example, how you can identify a traffic sign that give orders. Circles, where you can find information of reflected amber studs on the motorway. Then you know that, okay, this is the color scheme for that one. Your vehicle is stationary. When may you use your horn? Only the night time where you are unable to do anything. Sorry, the night time is not allowed, only to warn someone. Okay, otherwise you should not be using your horn ever. When may you use hazard warning light while you're traveling? Okay, so these are the ones. So the best way, as I said in the start of this video, there are 3 main books you can refer to. This is the one is freely available on the government website. If you just type on Google UK traffic signs, you will see in the government website www.gov.uk assets published free PDF format. Okay, you can always read it from there. So first of all, you will see a lot of signs, they are in the circles. Okay, so if you see, they're all in circle, but then the color of the circle will change. Red circles, blue circles, white background, okay, green backgrounds. If you look on this one, green one, blue ones. Okay, so they're all the circles, but if you differentiate them in the different steps, it will look so easy. Okay, number 1, traffic sign who give orders. Number 2, warning signs. Number 3, direction signs. Number 4, information signs. Number 5, roadwork signs. And then in the last, other signs, other traffic signs. If you think in the one order, they looks very confusing, but if you do it separately, it will be so easy. So let's say sign giving orders. Many people, when they practice for the theory test, they always say that the red circles will be the only orders. Okay, now think about the first one. You say don't go more than 30 miles, but 20 miles zone end. This blue one say don't drive less than 30 miles. This say the national speed limit is going to be your 70 or maybe 60 in a single carriage or country lanes. The blue again say keep left order. This one, motor vehicles are not allowed, anyone with engines. No stopping zones. No vehicle are allowed to enter. You must stop. Contraflow, only the buses are allowed to come from the front and you only can go forward from this side. So they are all orders. Okay, can be different shape, not in the same color, but they're all orders. Now we're going to talk about the warning signs. Triangle normally going to be your warning sign, but there can be different shape as well. Stop, 100 yards. So stop sign is going to come ahead 100 yards. So that's the one of the warning. Ford, dual carriageway, ending. No footway for 100 yards. Both sides is getting narrow. Uneven roads. Tunnel is coming ahead. T-junction. Sharp deviation to the left. All warnings for what's coming up next. Directions. This is one of the easy one you can see, but the easy way to remember, the white color backgrounds are non-primary roads, green colors are primary route, and the blue is for the motorway. brown for the tourist, and this one is for diversions, roadwork diversions, and this one again diversion route as well. So again, so this is how you get the direction signs. They are more in the scale boxes. Okay, so they're all direction signs, and whatever written down, that's how you follow them, left, right, and all this. Diagram for the roundabout, diagram for the junctions. Okay, information signs. These are the signs give you the information what's going to come next. For example, camera is coming ahead, tourist information, place is coming ahead, priority for the vehicles, 2+ lane is coming ahead, hospital is coming ahead, your exit on the motorway is coming ahead, is a control zone, is information, the control zone end, is a low bridge, some people are going to join you from the slip road, motorway is going to end. This is how you need to stay in the lane discipline. Bus lane and taxi and cycle lane is ahead. They're all informations. Roadwork signs. Again, roadwork is, this is the main roadwork sign, is a loose jibbing sign. They come in yellow and black colors. This is the temporary restrictions signs which normally you see at the roadwork situations. Okay. Then you get the other type of the signs. The signs you see from the cyclist giving you for turning left and right or getting slow down. Sign you're getting from the car in front of you when they don't have lights are working for any reason. It's, for example, if it's turning right side, it's turning left, it's slowing down. Sign you get it from the traffic signals. Sign you get it here, the traffic signal working. Sign you get it from the police controlling. Sign you get from the driver, like when he's turning left. Sign you get it from the road construction people when they tell you to stop and go because they're working. Sign you get it through this road marking, what to do and what's coming up next, like a give way sign, stop lines, give way, hazard coming ahead, you're not allowed to stop, you're allowed to stop. So there are other type of the signs. So signs are not just traffic sign, their road marking is also your signs. Okay, they also give you all the orders and informations. So don't think about the sign as a board sign, think about the road marking as your signs as well, because they are telling you what to do. Now, next topic is rule of the road. Expected about 67 questions in total. The type of the questions can be, where may you overtake on a one-way street? Both sides. You are turning right at the crossroad and oncoming driver is also turning right. How you should normally deal it. The safe is offside to offside. Who has a priority at the unmarked crossroads? No one. Okay, so that's kind of question you get in rule of the road, like driving rules. Majority of the time, these are the questions are about driving rules. You will understand this more if you're already taking a driving lessons. Okay, but if you're not taking a driving lessons, it does not matter. But think about the driving. These are the more related to the drivings. Okay, for example, they're talking about the right turn on the crossroad marker with the yellow box. Who is allowed to turn? If your right turn is empty, then you are allowed to stand on the yellow box. Otherwise, you are not allowed to come and stand on yellow box. Okay, remember this one. Then they can ask you the rule of the roundabout. If you see the cyclist traveling on the roundabout, then you know which side the cycle normally stay. Where you keep your car on the roundabout, which signal you give on the roundabouts. Okay. Then you got a question about Then you got a question about police cars. Then what if the nighttime driving police give you the signal to stop the car or something? Then you got a meter zones. Then after the meter zones, you get that how to overtake someone, how to move at angles, speed limits, national speed limits for single carriage, dual carriageway, rule of the one-way system, what you do in the parallel crossing, what is the best safe place you can park the car at the night time under the light so you don't get things stealed by the stealers, safe locations or safe places. What about the disabled car parks? You're allowed to stop there or not? What about the exits, the counter 3, 2, 1? What about the cycle lanes? You're allowed to go there or not? If there's solid line, you don't go there. If it's a broken line, you see if you need to go there as a safety or not. Otherwise, not. Then you go to motorway rules. Okay, then you normally park the car on your side, left side, under the lid area, like where the lights are. Okay, so then you go for safety margins. There's going to be 34 questions in total in your theory test. So the type of the question you get it is called, what is the main cause of skidding? again, you need to know what can cause you skidding. So think about if for example, if you're driving too close to someone, the surface is not good, and you do the last minute hard brake, your car can get skid from the back. Okay, so think about the driving more in that scenario. Bad weathers. You are about to slow down on a steep hill. What should you do to control the speed of your car? So think about lower gear. I know many people these days are trying to learn the driving in automatic cars, but in your driving test, they're not going to check your knowledge with automatic car. They're going to check the knowledge with your manual cars mainly. So maybe you have to think about that I go with the lower gear. Okay, so then you think about that I need the lower gear. But again, in automatic car, you don't use the gear. So preparing your theory, prepare in a way that you're preparing for the manual car, not for the automatic cars. Okay, remember this. You are driving a vehicle that has an anti-lock braking system. Okay, so again, this is a feature of your car for the brakes, which they ask you some question. Again, this is something a little bit technical information which you maybe don't know yet because you are not behind the wheels yet. Okay, if you're not sure, ask these questions from your driving instructor, and I'm sure they're happy to help you to answer you all these kind of thing and tell them to show you where they are. Okay, so see the example. So for example, this is the rule number 119 if your car skids. So if you do the hard brake and back of your car skid in snow or bad weather to the right side, then first don't press any race and brake and let the car get gradually slow down, and you steer to the right side gently to make the car straight again. Then think about the 2-second rule gap in a good weather, 4 seconds in a bad, and 10 times in a bad weather. This is a function of ABS. In old cars, if you have to do the hard brake, suddenly in the case of emergency, your steering gets too stiff and you are unable to steer it to avoid the object in front of you. But with the help of ABS, what you normally can do, if your car still got the chance, then you can do the hard brake and you can steer at the same time and you can avoid the object in the front. So you can save someone's life with that function. It's called anti-lock braking system. You maybe can get skid on the snow. Okay, then you maybe go under the water and brakes are not working properly if your brakes are all wet. Then you're thinking about if you park the car in up the hill, which side you need to do the steering. If you're parking the car down the hill, which side you need to do the steering. If you're approaching the bend, what speed is the best to approach in the bend? Otherwise, you may be going to skid your car on the bend, and only drive the car in the fog where you are unable to see it. Otherwise, you have to switch on your fog light when the visibility reduced than 100 meter, and your speed choice will be only what you can see easily. Otherwise, there's no need to speed up. Okay, so these are all your safety margins. Driving. Now, this is one of the common questions people get in the theory test. It's called stopping distance, braking distance, and you got it like thinking distance. Now, one of the easy way to remember this one is this. First, write it down all the speed on the left side like this. So start from, let's say 10 is better. So 10 mile per hour, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70. Then think about the table of 3. Okay, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and 21. Okay, so very easy. The only thing you need to remember now is your braking distance, which is in the red color, which is this. Okay, so for example, if you're traveling on 20-mile road, your braking distance is 6, 30 mile is 14, 40 is 24, 50 is 38, 60 is 55, 70 is 75. Okay, more you're driving fast, more the time you need to do the brakes. So when imagine you're driving on 70-mile road per hour like a motorway, you need to start doing the early braking so your car will stop in 96 meters. Now, easy way to remember again, if you add your thinking distance and braking distance, it will be your overall stopping distance, 12 meters. They don't only show you 12 meters, they will always put it down 12 meters and bracket 40 feet. Okay, if we go for the next one, 9 plus 14 will be 23, 20 plus 24, 36, 16 plus this. So you just need to remember the red color only, which is your braking distance, and you will get this figure, which is your stopping distance easily. And this is very easy to remember. Just type 10 to 70 mile per hour and then type the table of 3 in front of it. Just remember these figures and you can add any time on your fingers. I hope it is easy to remember now. So this is another example I gave you to do this. Speed limits, thinking distance, which is the table of 3. Braking distance you need to remember. Then add the thinking and braking together, so you get the overall stopping distance easily. So only thing you need to remember is the braking distance more. Now 20 is also very easy to remember. In 20 mile, 6 meter and 6 meter, so not much to remember. 30 mile, a little bit more, 20 more, 50 more, 18 more, and this more. Okay, now let's go to the next chapter. Is called safety and safety of your vehicle and motorcycle, about 78 questions. In this one they will ask you about what is the type, what is the legal limit of your tire, okay, which is your show me tell me question as well in your practical test. You are carrying 2 13-year-old children, who is responsible for the seat belt, how you can avoid wasting fuel, like thinking about eco-safe driving, fuel efficiency driving, who is most likely to waste fuel, what if you involve in a collision, what you will do, how you can reduce the risk of injury. Okay, so they're again talking about the safety of yourself and your vehicle. So think again, try to keep your car up to date with mechanical wise, regular engine oil check, water check. If you got any warning light on your dashboard, how you go to the garage and fix it up. Regular servicing is important. Then you're traveling on a road, how you paying good attention, like anticipation on the road, your eyes stay on the road, your hands always on the wheel, you fasten your seatbelt all the time, you're watching all the speed limit, follow the signs properly. Then you understand about your little bit mechanical part of your car, about your tires, engine, coolant, brake oil, or any warning lights. Park the car in a safe place. Don't leave anything where you can see you are inviting any thief to steal your car. Okay, then your seat belts are, sorry, your head restraints are very important. In the case of emergency, if you don't get the proper adjusted head restraint, it can break your neck, it causes you big injury. If you go in the car park, you should be parking your car in a safe places, like a car park with the proper lights are on. Paid parking is better. What is the cause of your tire underinflated or overinflated? Your tire must need to have a good air pressure. Who is responsible for the children to get the proper seat belt, proper car seat? What car seat you need to buy? What is more important for your car seat? How much fuel you should be carry all the time in your car for the safe side, and how you can save the fuel. What is the legal thread, and how you can check the thread, and what tire is the best tire for your journeys. Okay, now this is about your safety and your car safety. Number 2, this one is 12. Number 12, expected 44 questions, is about the vehicle and motorcycle handling. Okay, how you handle the car is more important. If you're not driving for your motorcycle or not riding a motorcycle, just think about the car. So you are driving in fog. Why should you keep well back from the car in front of you, so you stay safe? Okay, or you can handle the car in the case of emergency if you have to do the brakes. How can you use your vehicle engine to control if you drive in a better gear in a good time? Why could it be dangerous to keep the clutch down? You're costing your car engine don't going to stay in the control if you're not using the clutch up. Okay, so these kind of questions will come on the way. Why you're more conscious on the slip road? Because maybe this guy suddenly turn left in front of you. So let's say yellow car is yours, and this guy maybe suddenly turn left in front of you. So this is where you should be more cautious and be ready to handle the car. If you see the hump sign, you need to keep jumping up again and again, so you need to control it properly. What about going very steep downhill, 20%? So staying in a lower gear is better. What is the best gear for uphill and downhill? Again, think about manual car more, not in automatic cars. Okay, how you should be safe yourself in the nighttime driving, how much anticipation you need it, what light you should be using which don't dazzle the other people, and what if someone dazzles you. Okay, why you should not keep the clutch down, what is a fog light, what you choose, the front fog light, back fog light, when you're allowed to use it, when you're not allowed to use it. How you drive in the snow? What is the change you can get on the tire to drive in snow? What about the very bright sun and you're unable to see in front of you? Okay. So number 13, vehicle motor loading. They are talking about the loading now. Very limited question, 12 total. So for example, how will the heavy load on your car affect your handling of the car? So for example, if you're carrying the load on the roof, for example, you're traveling somewhere and you got a lot of things at the back and your handling can be different. Who is responsible for making sure that the vehicle is not overloaded? Again, the driver. All the passengers are allowed to ride in a caravan that's being towed? No, you cannot sit in the caravan, you have to sit in a car. How should the load carry out on the roof rack? Equally distributed. Okay, all these kind of questions will come in your vehicle motor loading. So see the pictures. For example, how to tie the things on the roof. You cannot do this loose one with the wire only. Okay, it should be safe like this on this carrier box. How the load carry on the car when you don't sit here, you sit in the car. Okay, what if this opens suddenly on the main road? You have no controls. If you're not using anything, if you don't carrying any weight, you make it off, you don't keep it on your roof. Okay, then the question will come about the tow bar. So tow bar is used here to tow this. Okay, so that's called a tow bar. And then you got a jockey. This is called a jockey, that you mean they help you to stabilize yourself with the car. Okay, so they will ask you these kind of questions about the tow bar, jockey, and all kind of things. Okay, how you can go for handling. If you don't carry anything, don't carry on. Number 14, vulnerable road user. Add the name, mention it. They're talking about the vulnerable road users. Expected 67 questions in total. So for example, you are waiting to come out of the side road. Why should you look for motorcycle? Because they'll very easily be going the blind spot or hidden behind the walls and cars. A horse rider in the left-hand lane approaching the roundabout. They stay left lane even they want to go right side. Okay. What should you do when you are following a motorcycle along that is a poor surface? Maybe he have to swerve suddenly to save the pothole. So be ready for sudden movement from them. Who may use the token crossing? Cycle and pedestrian. So think about the cycle at that time. Okay, they are also vulnerable. So I make it down a little bit easiness for you. Who is more vulnerable? So go for that order a little bit. You can say kids, horse rider or any animals, motorcycle, cyclists, disabled people, people with animals like dog walks, and where you normally find them in the area like school area or country lanes. Now give examples. Cyclist, vulnerable. If you got a porthole and cycle lane, maybe he's trying to swerve suddenly for the porthole and maybe come in front of your car suddenly. Think about the motorbikes. They can be hidden, especially the night time. So wear the good jackets so people can see you. Unexperienced driver like learners also can be vulnerable. They maybe do certain things on the road which they not allowed to do it, or sometimes they just do it because they don't know about it. Then you got animals on the road, especially in the country lanes. Look for the horses. Okay, look for the cyclists on the roundabout. They're more vulnerable because they stay left even they want to go right. Think about the pedestrian crossing the road before turning left and right. If you see any object coming suddenly in front of the car like a ball, then think about the child is running after the ball suddenly and come to pick it. Okay, children vulnerable. Okay, school area. Then you got animals on the road like Wales, Scotland, or any country lanes. Then you got the disabled people with blind, with a stick, deaf. Then people nearby the zebra crossing, pedestrian crossing, school zones. Okay. Then you got a person telling you when to stop, when to go because he's near the school zone and kids can come suddenly. Okay. These are the example of the vulnerables. So this was your 14 chapters, which I gave you a little bit hint about the chapters as well. Now we're going to talk about the hazard perception. Okay, which is the same theory test. In a hazard perception, after multiple choice part finish, you will choose the little bit break about 3 minutes for your hazard test to start. The hazard test is basically an interactive videos where you have to scan the road. So look ahead into the video and see what you can see ahead and identify the developing hazards or potential hazards. The learner cars or motorcycle is going to get about 14 video clips to do in the test. Okay. So what is classed as a developing hazard? Developing hazard can be anything from a pedestrian stepping out into the road, a child running between parked cars, which I show you the picture in previous one behind the ball, and a car or a car coming out from the driveways. As a part of developing your hazard perception test skills, it's essential that you learn to look out for early warning sign for developing hazard. For example, if you see the sign for tractor, you may be expecting to see the tractor soon. If you see the sign of your horses, you may be going to see the horses soon. Okay, that is how you must pay attention to the signs on the road as well in the video, because that sign also give you the warning what's coming up next. To do this, you will need to put in a lot of revision and practice time, but you must also be able to understand how different situation can potentially develop into the more serious hazard. Okay, example of developing hazard will be, so a good example of developing hazard could involve seeing a ball rolled out across the road ahead that you potentially be closely to follow, which is going to be this picture, which I show you this one. Okay, that is a potential hazard. More early you spot it out, more early you think about it. More early you spot about the horse, cyclist, animals, cyclists, pothole, motorbike, learners. So they're all good developing hazard videos. I got a good video on my other channel as well. It's called 34 CGI clips. 34 hazard perception clips, where I explain about 34 clips to understand how you get the good score and what you're looking for. So if you can look on my other video, it will be great. I'm going to give you a little bit link as well, so it will be so easy for you to find out. Okay, if you look on my suggested video on the top of this video, you will see this hazard perception 34 clips. Now, when to click, this is very important. So by following these steps, you should maximize your chances of achieving the best possible score in your hazard perception, which is 5 is the maximum, 0 if you don't actually click it, and 1 is the minimum score. If you see something that you can imagine might develop into the hazard, then click immediately. If the road scene continues to develop as you feared, that means in the direction of hazardous situation, then click a second time. So for example, you click and click again. So you don't click it at the same spot too many times. So you first see the things, you click it, then click again, then click again, then click again. Then system will pick the best score you get on the first click. Okay, in case you miss the first click, at least your second click will be there. Okay, this is the best way to remember. When the situation has developed to the point where you would be doing something about it, click again. Okay, now this is very important thing to remember when you go for your hazard perception test, that they can detect that you are doing the cheating. You're actually not watching the video. For example, you are closing your eyes and you're just clicking. Some people say you click 3 times. Okay, some people say you click it with some per second, like click, gap, click, gap, click, gap. Okay, so think about, it's nothing like this. You need to watch the video, because end of the day you have to give your real practical test, and you have to watch the developing hazard on the road, and you have to show the examiner how you're going to save the developing hazard in a good time. Okay, so don't do anything which you just doing it to pass your theory test. Now they got a very good system. It's called anti-cheat algorithm in our hazard perception test software and in the Dvsa official hazard test. This is intended to prevent people from passing by simple clicking a lot of time but not actually spotting the hazards. The algorithm can detect rapid pattern and repeated clicking, and if you click too many times, it will detect and will get D0. Many times in your hazard perception videos, people actually click too many times at the same place and they score 0. And if by doing the same thing in a different clips, the total score becomes too less and they're unable to pass. I do get sometimes people came to me and say, I failed just because of 1 mark on a hazard perception, like say 43 out of 75, because in 1 or 2 click, they click it too many times and they got 0 marks. Okay. However, if you're clicking only when there is a developing hazard or potential hazards on screen, you are very unlikely or trigger that response. Okay, so just see something, click it. If you don't see, don't click it. Potential and dangers. It is not to say that you should go clicking at every little thing you notice. only thing which going to disturb you. Okay, then you click. For example, you're driving on the road, you see the cyclist, and you see there is a car in front of the cyclist, and you know cycle is going to move his cycle on in front of your car to pass the car. That is your developing hazard. So keep noticing that situation and be ready to click it soon he changes position. Okay, if you see the cycle on the footpath and is staying on the footpath, not coming on the road, you don't have to click for it. Now, summary of what we have told you so far in total. Okay, so we're going for revise again. So this presentation was about your theory test, what you need to know about the theory test. There are total about 730 up till 780 questions in total, and you get 50 questions in your test and about 57 minutes to pass that time slot. You get 14 questions, 14 different topics from which you get that 50 questions. Then you go to hazard perception, where you get 14 clips, and one of the clip will have 2 hazards and all other 13 clip will have 1 hazards. Then you get CGI clips, which is known as your computer generated images. So they are not real, they created to understand you more for the test. Then when you will finish your test, you go to the reception, they will issue you the certificate if you pass or if you fail. Okay, you both times you get the certificate. Now I'm going to give you some tips before you go. Make sure you arrive on time 15 minutes before you allocated time. Don't get late, they will not take your test. Don't forget to bring your ID with you. You also have to option to go through the practice section, so you get a sample question before you go to the real test. I suggest you to use that 7 question, get used to with the system and mouse, and see if you're clicking it properly and you can see the flags properly. And if they give you the headphone, wear the headphone and click it to listen it and read it at the same time, and don't rush to give answer. And your answer, you can spend about maximum 60 seconds or 50 seconds on one question. If you're not sure, don't spend too much time, give the answer and flag it and go to the next one and then come back to again. Okay, so if you choose to do this, your real driving test will begin at the end of the session. Okay, now the apps, there are a lot of different apps you can use on your mobile phone. Dvsa app, okay, free apps, but make sure some free apps not going to give you all the questions to prepare. So read the books first, and you can use any apps. I use Theory Test Pro, is a good app and website, we use it. We also do the mock test. So if any one of you want to prepare yourself for the theory test, they can come to us and we can do the Zoom meeting like this and teach you your theory questions in explanation. And if you want to just do the mock test, okay, this is the free mock test. Only thing you need to do, just email us at info@mqwdrivingschool.uk and we will arrange the date and time with you, and you spare about 2 hours with you. We don't interrupt you while doing your mock test, we just see the result in the last and we can tell you what you did wrong. Okay, so happy to do your mock test anytime, and that will be your Theory Test Pro website we use for this, and you need about 2 hours in total for that. Okay, again, is a free mock test. So before we go, this is the website address. You can also request us anything online at mqwdrivingschool.uk. We are also available on Facebook to contact on Messenger anytime. This is my YouTube channel. If you go to the YouTube and say youtube.com/MQW Driving School, exactly the way it's written down here in capital letters, MQW Drive, and then school capital letters, you will go for YouTube videos and see some sample videos about theory questions and answers and hazard perception test. Okay, thank you for watching our video. And again, if you need any help in your theory questions, hazard perception, want to do the mock test, you can contact us. But if you want to take the lesson with us, we got a separate price for that one. Online course, we have a theory test course which you can do in the, what you call it, you can do this in a lockdown or anytime after the lockdown you can do it. We give that offer on the website. If you go on website, you can buy from there these hours. Thank you for watching and all the best if anyone want to do this.